Oh, what up, y'all? It's your boy back at it. You know what I'm saying? Another episode. Checking in. If you guys saw me last time, I was in the room of a 15-year-old girl, and a lot of people, out of context, think that's a creepy sentence to say. I agree, actually, now that I say it out loud, as a 36-year-old man. Um, but yeah, this we're back in the crib, back to normal. I apologize for some of the inconsistencies and when I've been dropping shit. I've been doing some stuff. I've been a busy boy. I hope you guys understand. This is probably as busy as I've ever been in my life with just doing stand up and shit like that. Because I used to work a whole 9 to 5 and still pursue stand up, so that was pretty busy. But as far as traveling and stuff like that, so there's some inconsistencies with where I've been, and also I'm trying to just, there's a degree of which when I have a day off or two, I try to take a deep breath, enjoy some things. So I did that, and I'm trying to plan around, some personal stuff too, and get that in too. So the one of the trips was obviously the trip to the, I guess it's called the Central Valley of California. We try to be nondescript. Um, with exactly where we're at. I don't want you guys to know any cross streets or anything like that, but that's where my girlfriend's family lives at now. And so that's where we were last week. And I did, if you guys are wondering, I'm here to tell the tale. I did survive. I have already been there. They do know me, but you never know how it's going to go. Because after that last episode, when I recorded that, we had Halloween night, and we got to meet the newest person that is in a relationship with one of her siblings, and it was nice to know that the pressure's not on me anymore. I was the most recent boyfriend being brought in, or the most recent significant other being brought into the family. And the last time I was there, earlier in the year, and this time there's a new one, and he's a white boy too. So the pressure's completely off me. Now it's all on him. It's exciting. I've already handled my shit. I've been through my shit. He was in over his head, just kind of seeing what was going on. Um, I previously the last time I went there to meet them, I was the only white dude there. So, well, other than the 15-year-old's boyfriend is a white dude actually, but he's not gonna help me at all. This kid doesn't say a fucking word. I don't even know if he has a backbone. I don't know what age those grow in at. But he's not at that point where I can look to him for any guidance or anything like that. He's not helping. He's out. He's excited for the new Jack Harlow album, and that's about it. You know, so he's not going to help. So now we got another white adult male in the situation, and it was nice to get the pressure off me. They like me now. I've got the buy-in from this family, which is big. It's huge. It's so their background is Vietnamese, and I don't know if anybody out there has dated somebody that is not of the same background. You know me. I don't go white on white. I'm not bringing more white people into the world. I'm an ally. I think we had a good run. We had a nice run for the majority of our time on this earth, which is another crazy thing. I think we're also we're living in a time where it's the waning years of I hate to put these words back to back, but white power. I'm not a proponent of it. I'm just saying I'm not naive to the fact that we've had a good run on top. And also I'm not even saying that we're going to be relieving the number one spot. I'm just saying it's a little closer than it's ever been, okay? And that's fine. I've never, I'm not trying to procreate and bring more white people in the world anyway. That's not what I'm doing. We're trying to mix up colors. Went Vietnamese. And so if you've ever dated somebody that has, obviously different race than you, or even just like significantly different background, meeting the fam is it's an interesting thing. I've met families of people I've been in a relationship with that have had different backgrounds multiple times. I went down to Mexico City one time. That shit was crazy. Nice thing is language barrier. They didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. So I just looked like a nice boy. And that would have been a come up for them, honestly. Not to say they're doing badly, but I'm saying, I had some things that could have worked in their favor as far as us making a nice union. Didn't work out long term, but could get those papeles going. You know what I mean? Make the transition over the border a little bit easier. Is something that I could have brought to the table. Didn't work out long term. I've been introduced to an entire black family before. Luckily, I grew up around enough black people. I had a little bit. You gotta go in there. You gotta it's touch and go sometimes. Gotta let them know anytime. You ain't no punk, you know. And this one was the most unique one though, because this is a family. My current girlfriend's family is first generation immigrants into in America. So, you know, they got their own culture. They got their own thing, and a lot of it has to do with screaming at a dinner table while drinking booze. And those are things that I'm familiar with too. I got an Irish mother, Irish Catholic mother from Long Island. They're crazy, so I'm ready for that. You want to scream at high decibel levels at a dinner table? Let's fucking go. But also, you got to be able to kind of stand your ground. You know, they might talk a little shit. See if you can talk shit back. The other thing I bring to the table is I'm also introduced as somebody that does stand-up comedy. So then they're questioning me: are you funny? What the fuck are you doing? Are you broke? Yes to both those things. Yeah, I'm funny. Yeah, I'm broke. What's up? You know what I mean? But I got a vision of success, and I'm climbing the ranks. We're gonna be fine. But this was the second time that I had to interact with this family, and the last time I set a good tone. I made inroads. They love me. Most of them love me. I had to check one of them. One of them came at me pretty drunk late night, talking about what you're not funny. You're not Matt Rife. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not Matt Rife. I don't have elevated cheekbones like my boy Rifey. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. That's not where I'm at. I'm not selling out theaters just yet. You're right. I'm not even gonna call you out on that. You are completely accurate. But don't call me out in front of my girl, in front of your sister. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I had to talk a little shit back. So, but the last time I had to set that tone. They come out of pocket with some questions sometimes, and it's different. Because like if it was just a typical white family from the Midwest, I'm running circles around them. That's easy. You know what I mean? I've never been in it's a big family too. A big, like 8 sibling Vietnamese family. So like, that's like the Wu-Tang Clan. Pretty much. After ODB died, there's 8 of them left. Depends on your opinion on Capadonna. But the first trip there was me kind of setting a tone, letting them know, hey, I'm not a punk bitch. I'm a good man. I am funny. I'm not where I want to be success-wise yet. The money's not flowing in. But I love your sister. And it's going to be cool. And we're going to be all right. So the second time, which was this last time, Halloween, I got to see the family all again. We're kicking it. I'm good. I was great. We're fine for the most part. The one brother that kind of tried to check me a little bit, let me know that he didn't believe in where I was at on the comedy scales, the comedy ranks. I let him know last time. And at the end of the day, he ended up fast forward to the end of that night, he told me he's a Bengals fan. I'm like, we're fucking fine. Why don't we lead with that next time? We could just be talking football instead of talking a little shit to each other, playing mano-y-mano, getting big chested at 1 a.m. But so we're all fine now, right? We can laugh about those things on the second visit. Now I get to see the first visit of this new dude. And it was fun to see. He was in over his head a little bit. I don't think he made a lot of positive. He didn't make negative impressions. He didn't make any positive impressions. He kind of safe. He definitely didn't do anything to piss anybody off, which I respect him. I think he might have played that the right way. Don't just fucking stand in the corner. Don't do much. His girl, obviously my girl's sister, kind of checked him the whole time. Didn't let him say too much to embarrass himself. Didn't let him get into the Thunderdome, as they speak. into the dragon's lair. Because once you get to chirping, once you're in there, you're combating things. You're swinging them off. You're holding your ground. And I don't think he had it in him. And I think that the girl, his my girlfriend's sister, is very aware that he could not have. He didn't have the protection and the ammo to get out of that thing if he got in too deep. And so he slow putted it. And I think he might have done he bunted, you know what I mean? Whatever the safest thing you could do, that's what he did. He tried to just run the clock out. And I think it worked. But it was interesting to see. It was nice to observe as an insider now. Now I'm on the inside looking out. And it was funny. So hopefully he makes it long term. We'll see if he makes it a second round. I don't know. But it was a fun trip for sure. Going back there, hanging with them is good. I'll tell you what, if you've been with a family of people that aren't originally from this country and live here now, good cooks. That's not a generalization. I think that it is inaccurate at all. That's the most accurate thing you say. These people are good cooks. We ate great. It was fantastic. So that was good. So I did survive that. We did have Halloween there too. Halloween was fun. It was like, obviously I didn't dress up or anything, but there's kids. There's like 3 or 4 kids running around doing their thing. Me and my girl walked around the neighborhood and got to see all the shit. And yeah, it's just funny seeing it now as an adult, seeing these kids walk around, do Halloween. I don't know. I just remember rolling around being pretty reckless as a kid. I was a child it had to be the mid to late 90s all the times I did Halloween. Probably hung up the boots at about 14, maybe 15. I did see a couple of kids that were clearly like 16, 17 and just didn't dress up at all, just getting candy. I remember those days. Those last couple of Halloweens where you're like, I'm throwing on a basketball jersey and I'm getting fucking candy tonight, okay? From every single fucking neighbor that lives in this area. I don't even live in this neighborhood. I just know that these people are wealthy and they're giving away the big boys. You know what I mean? So, hats off to you, the couple of people that I saw there doing that. And then just the young, 8 to 12-year-olds. It's still, I don't remember having to go out with my parents after like being like, I don't know, 6 or 7. I think once you had a good enough grasp on your neighborhood and your unit, you were able to go kind of solo without the parents, which is not how they do it now. The parents are very much with them, and they're probably doing the right thing because by the end of the night, there was a little girl in a peach costume, 6 or 7-year-old Asian girl, that was missing from her parents. So, yeah, sometimes you're like, damn, things have changed. These kids are a bunch of bitches. They can't go out alone. And then you're like, there's somebody that might have been kidnapped last night. So, hopefully she's found. I think she was, because there was no news the next day. I think people have been freaking out more. But, yeah, that'll scare you. That'll scare you about having kids. Also, just you want to not have kids. Walk around a neighborhood on Halloween night. That will remind you do not want to have children. That's for sure. And then it's funny, these kids are so aware too. So I guess my girlfriend's nephew and niece, they're like, we walked around one time with them, and they're probably maybe 6 and 8, something like that, 6 and 9 years old. And they get all their candy back, and they're going through it. And, yeah, these kids are brought up different. He was going through it, and he was seeing what candy he liked and shit like that, and he saw Smarties. He literally looked at it, and he said, "This is fentanyl." And I thought that was pretty impressive because I would have eaten that. I would have eaten that fentanyl. But these kids now, they're so, good. That's good parenting. Letting your 6-year-old know that what is and is not fentanyl. Because I guess they're putting Fentanyl and Smarties now. Also, Smarties don't hold up. That's straight sugar. They're not good. They're not super flavorful. That could be the death of Smarties, is this fentanyl rumor. And I think it's a long time coming. Nobody fucks with Smarties. Nobody's out here vouching for Smarties. You're never trading for Smarties. At the end of the night, when you got both bags out and you're like, which is there any candy you don't want and I want? Smarties are in the trash anyway. So this fentanyl rumor could be finally the death of Smarties. They had a good run. I actually don't understand how they had that long of a run, if we're being honest. On the topic of Halloween, too, if we're ranking candies, I'm still OG Reese's Cup, dude. You can give me the small mini ones. You can give me the regular ones. The regular ones have a better chocolate to peanut butter ratio. That is known. I will prefer those, but I'll do it any way I need to. But I will say, sneaky. There's some sneaky ones that I forget that I like that I did see. Namely, $100,000. $100,000 is a good candy bar. I hadn't had one in probably 2 years, and I snuck one out of the young kid's bag. We call him Bubba. I snagged $100,000 from him, and then also, if you can get your hands on a whatchamacallit, you're not gonna have a bad time at all. Those are great. And then I don't know when Take 5 had a good run. We don't see those anymore. But Take 5 is that is a great candy as well. Those are things that I think about sometimes. But if it comes down to it and I need to rank them, Reese's Cups are still going to be, that's the number one, and I'm not wrong about that. Some people like Kit Kats. I don't get it. I do fuck with the Milky Way from time to time, but that's a mood thing. If you have Three Musketeers in your top three, you're being judged flat out. You're wrong. I don't think that much nougat should be covered in chocolate and enjoyed by anybody, especially at this age. And you know what I don't see a lot of is paydays anymore. Do those finally fall off? Peanut allergies, maybe? These kids. Fuck them. I mean, don't fuck them, but fuck them. You know what I mean? But either way, that was the trip last week. I did survive. I came back, had to go to, excuse me, coming off also a little bit of an illness. Had some coughs, had some nasty throat stuff going on this week, but I muscled through. We did it. Came back from Fresno. Where'd I go? I went to Phoenix. I had to go to Phoenix to we go to golf tournaments and talk shit to people at par threes of charity events. It's pretty fun. So I did do that. So I went into Phoenix and I did that. And then that was fun. Being in Phoenix and being around golf people was fun. But this one was actually a cop police charity. So not to say, hey, go cops. God bless them. But also, certain type of people. So there was a lot of cops there. And some of them can take a joke better than others. You know what I mean? Some of them get a little defensive. And then also you're in Phoenix, Mesa, Arizona. But for the most part, like, great people. Everybody was super fun. We just get to talk a little shit when they're coming through and elevate the moment or elevate the day. They come do a par three, and we kind of talk shit about these people, how they look, how fat they are, how boring they look. Mainly just making fun of bland Arizona whites and their one minority friend, if they even have one. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot. There was literally a whole day of golfing. There was one black dude. Swear to God, that's it. And there was like maybe 100 people. So, and that math checks out. And we gave him an extra gift card because he won the prize for the only black dude in Arizona that day on a golf course. So, did get to do that. Going back to Arizona was always fun, Phoenix and all that stuff. And so I went and we talked shit to all them. And then what was happening was there's a group of people that kept hanging around, and they were chilling because we're the most exciting hole of the event. So if you want to just hang with us, you can. And so there was like 3 or 4 people that were just hanging, and by the end of the day, it's the classic thing, you know. Speaking of just being white in America, you got to be, when you surround yourself with too many whites, by the end of the day, sometimes the you're like, is this guy a little racist? And then by the end of the day, you're like, oh yeah, he's full racist. They start sometimes there's a thing between whites where in the early part of the day they're trying to pepper in some borderline shit, and then also at the end of the day, I'm trying to do a job, and I'm representing another company. So it's not my thing. It's through another company that we do this, and we're hired through them. And so you don't want to, like, I don't know. I would usually just say some shit in this moment if I just didn't want to be around this person. But, like, we're also, like, trying to build business and whatever like that, right? Not saying this is right or wrong, whatever. I'm just saying this is the mentality that I had during the day. And he's peppering in some stuff because we're having fun. We're comedians talking a little shit to these golfers. And, like, when I'm saying the race stuff and stuff like that, like, I'm not saying racist stuff. I am making jokes about race. Like, identifying that these white people only know this black person. This is the only black dude they know, and they're bragging about it all day. That's not racist. That's actually true. And it's funny because it's true, right? They wouldn't have laughed that hard if it wasn't true. And, you know, but we're not saying anything that's, like, derogatory towards anybody because of their race. But then there's a dude that's hanging with us all day, and he's, like, peppering in some stuff. And you're like, this is, they're trying to be funny like us, right? They're trying to make these jokes, but you're like, that's, I think, blatant racism. And so he said a couple things that I think somebody brought up President Trump and his reaction to that, because at the end of the day, a lot of people voted for Trump. That doesn't mean that they're racist, but there are definitely probably more people that voted for Trump that are racist, right? I think we can, agree with that. The numbers are probably in the favor, because it isn't that you voted for Trump; it's your reaction to that. And he kind of gave me a red flag on that, and he was a little too gung-ho at that moment, where I was like, all right, we're just gonna not bring stuff up like that anymore around this guy. And then it escalated, and he's on the golf course. The sun is beating down. It's Phoenix. It's not 100 degrees anymore, but it's, your direct sunlight in the 80s and 90s. You're cooking a little bit. And he had gotten familiar enough and comfortable enough by the end of the day where he just, at one point, asked us, "You want to hear the best racist joke I know now?" And proceeded to not only not say a joke, the punchline was just the N-word. And then we've got, so then you're just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on? That's not even, I didn't laugh, but then we're almost at the end of the day where you're just like, all right, what the fuck? Do we got to call this guy an asshole? But this other dude is, this is definitely not somebody that we'll be doing business with. How about that? We know that much, which is nice. But at that point, you're just trying to get the fuck out of there. That's when you're reminded of what Arizona can be, and also what a collection of whites can be. There's probably some minorities listening. Hopefully, I've got a diverse, audience out there, and I appreciate you guys very much. But it is funny how, a lot of times you hear people like a collection of white, a group of whites. Sometimes is a dangerous thing, and you know what? They're not wrong. Not all the time. It doesn't always go that route, but I've been in enough, groups of whites in Arizona or Ohio, wherever it is, where you just got that one dude that feels so comfortable that he's like, I'm just gonna drop this super racist thing and see if it hits. Really, these boys will like it, and you're just like, whoa, bro, what the fuck is going on here? Get out of the group and also never say that again. The amount of times I've had to fight, I don't even fight people. It's so fun. And then they're just like, dude, I'm just drunk and I'm just having a good time. It's like, all right, well, don't ever do that. In fact, apologize and shut the fuck up. Um, but that was a fun one. That was fun. So shout out to Arizona. Golf courses in Arizona. If you want to hear, if you want to hear the N word more than a Wu-Tang concert, you go to a golf course in Arizona to see what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was a good time, but it was overall very fun. After that and around those areas, very good time in Arizona. I got to go to Tiger Woods, I guess, put a bunch of money into a thing called Pop Stroke or something like that. Or Pop Smoke is an artist. I know that's not who we're talking about, but Pop Stroke, I think it's called. You can look this up, but it's pretty much Top Golf for adults. But definitely kids can still do it too, because Top Golf's still for kids. But you can booze and get drunk. It's like, what did I say? It's like mini golf. Top Golf but mini golf. Does that make sense? Like putt, but with booze. How about that? So like it's like an 18 hole thing. It doesn't have like all the fucking windmills to shoot through and shit like that. It's actually like traditional putting, but it's like pretty hard. And it was difficult for sure. I don't think or one person got a hole in one. We had a group of 7 people. But if you're in Scottsdale, they just opened it. I think there's like 5, 7 of them around the country right now, but it's going to be popping. It's going to be taking over. I bet it'll be everywhere that there's a Top Golf, honestly, because they pair well. And it's just they had 2 18-hole courses, and you could be on fucking hole 5 and just from your phone just order some booze like a fucking Instacart over there. It's pretty great stuff. So that was good. Hard vouch for that. It was a little too busy, but it'll die down. I think it just opened, so it was like a bunch of people. But that was a good time. Got after it with the people, with my people out in Phoenix, which was a nice time. And then the best part of the weekend was getting to watch the Bengals and the Bills on Sunday Night Football. And it was fucking great. We're fucking back, dude. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, after it's funny, after every week, the last 4 they've won, you're more and more and more back. But this feels a lot like what they've done the past 2 years, and just get right in the middle of the season, get hot. Burrow looks fucking back to where he was. That's the weird thing at the beginning of the season. You're like, dude, at no point did I think at the beginning of the season that Joe Burrow just stopped being good. You know, the calf thing was legitimate and all that stuff. He wasn't moving a lot. I guess I didn't think he'd get back to. I was just hoping this season he'd be able to get back to like 80%. He looks like he's back at 100%, and he looks like he's better than or as good as he's ever been. Because he's had some great stretches in his career, but I don't know. I feel like he is cooking right now, and that's the beautiful thing that we need. Because now we're back, and then now we got injuries and shit like that. So Burrow's back healthy, but now it looks like Chase might be hurt, Higgins might be hurt. I don't know if both of them won't play. If both of them don't play, I don't like our chances ever. That's horrible. I don't think we got a dude named Yoshi and a dude named Trenton Irwin starting receivers. That's not a winning formula. So hopefully one of them plays, if not both of them play, even if they're not at 100%. That's better than most. But we're the team is back. The defense is cooking. Also, Lou Anarumo is like back. It's I don't know why this team makes it so frustrating in the beginnings of seasons, and why they make me feel like I feel. But once they get going, I fucking love it, and it almost like feels like they play better when their back's against the wall. I don't love that they do that, but like I'm fine with it if it's what works for them, because the results have paid off. Obviously, they haven't won the Super Bowl, but like the last 2 years, they've had a team that was in the top 3 football teams at the end of the year each year. I'm okay with that. You keep doing that, then one or two of these years you're going to win a Super Bowl, and they're right back in it. They were, it's crazy how football goes, but literally 3-4 weeks ago, they were out of Super Bowl contention. People were talking shit. I was getting texts left and right like, dude, you fucking Joe Burrow sucks. It hurt to wake up to those, But that was it's been nice to watch the boys totally redeem themselves. And it's crazy to see how, like, I know in the earlier of the year how it negatively impacted my weeks. Now I'm chilling. I'm kicking it, dude. It makes Tuesdays way better when you know that you got Joe Burrow just hanging out, practicing, watching film. You know what I mean? Like it changes your whole mood, and especially when you do it on like national TV like that too, and beating the Bills and beating the Niners, and then if you can go in and beat the Texans, then the Bengals are 6-3 going into a game against the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football that I will be attending in Baltimore. Are you kidding me? That's huge. I hate that it's a Thursday night game, but like that's huge. But first they got to beat Houston because it's not as cool going into that game after a loss. But if you looked at this 4-game stretch over a couple weeks ago, you're just like, let's just get 3 out of 4 and we'd be good. If we got 3 out of 4 of those games, then we'd be 6-4 going into the final stretch of the last 7 games. That's a good spot to be at. We've already won 2. So Houston and Baltimore are the next 2 of the next 4, right? If you can get these next 2, I mean, you kidding me? But first, lock in on Houston, And that's what I love about these guys. They are locked in. They're so locked in. Then our defensive team right now is crazy. This is as good as anybody in the NFL. It's as good as any unit in the NFL. So we're doing that. I actually don't even worry if the wide receivers are playing. If you got Joe Burrow healthy and a defense that isn't going to let up more than 17 points, I mean, come on. See what the fuck happens. You know what I mean? So that's exciting. I'm excited to obviously see how the season continues to go. I feel great about it. I'm excited to go to all these road games and have a little bit more confidence. I've told you guys, like this, if we were going into Baltimore on Thursday night and we were sitting at 3-6 and we were just fucking eating a dick and I had to go on the rest of these games on this tour, on this schedule, I'd have muscled through, but this shit would have sucked. So this is nice, and I'm excited to go to Baltimore. It's a Wednesday night. I got some people hitting me up saying they're going to come. I hope my following's a little bit bigger out there in Baltimore than maybe San Jose. Not a big draw in San Jose. We figured that out the hard way, guys. But if you know anybody in Baltimore, in D.C., in Maryland, wherever it is, hit them up. I know it's a weird night. It's a Wednesday, so I know that is a weird middle of the week night to go, but also it's 8. I'll have you home by 10. You know what I mean? We're going to do a Wednesday show at the Port Comedy Club in Baltimore. Tell your people to go. Wherever. I don't know where. Isn't it close to Virginia? Something like that. Maryland? Maybe Delaware? I don't know. All I know is I've watched The Wire 7 times, and I still really can't pinpoint exactly where Baltimore is. But I know that they used to get angry that they had to drive to D.C., so it can't be that far. I think it's about a 40-minute drive. So if you're in D.C. and you fuck with me, drive on down to Bmore. Let's get after it, Show me where McNulty found that dead body in the river. You know what I'm saying? Or show me the turnpike where McNulty ran his car into the pillar under that bridge. Show me the train tracks area where him and Bunk used to get fucking lit up like a Christmas tree and smoke cigars. Show me that one. That's the type of shit I want to see. Show me where the ports are at. Show me where they found Sapaka's body so I can pay homage. Show me that bar where Ziggy showed his dick to people and had a goose and killed it. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything for anybody that hasn't watched it. A lot of good stuff happened in that show. So, but yeah, that's what's on the deck. We got Baltimore coming up. After that, Jacksonville too. But between Baltimore and Jacksonville, your boy's going to Hawaii for his birthday. So Don't snooze on that. If you know anybody on the Big Island, but we're back. Bengals are back, and we're gonna be cooking, and I love it. And then the other thing that happened after the Bills game, and then I was chilling, and I got back to Phoenix, and I actually drove the last couple days. If you see me on IG, I kind of flexed on it a little bit. It's just some beautiful country. I don't know if you've done it before, but I went to Paso Robles, California, and that's a good time. Again, I don't know exactly where it is. There's portions of California that don't make a lot of sense to me, but I know it's north of. It's like north. It's inland from San Luis Obispo, if you've ever heard of that, which is where Cal Poly is, big college campus. A lot of stoner energy in San Luis Obispo. They call it slow, I believe. And then if you keep going up and in California, then there's Paso Robles. And what's going on in Paso Robles is, I didn't even know this, but I guess it's bigger than both Napa and Sonoma as far as how much space there is to grow wine or something like that. But it's a wine. It's wine. It's just wine. And you go in there with an open mind. You're like, let's get some wine going. Let's have some fun, get wine drunk. And I like being wine drunk, but it'll, that'll creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you're just kind of, like, you go to a couple spots, you do some wine tasting, and they're just serving you a little bit. What are they serving you? A little thimble of wine? You know what I mean? You're looking at the pour, you're like, this is some pussy shit. You better fucking fill that thing up. You give me a little sip of wine, you're sipping some wine, you're looking at some beautiful rolling hills of Paso Robles. You know what I mean? You're looking over the thing. You're looking at migrant workers work their ass off, picking at the vines, getting the grapes going so they can continue to make the money for this company that's worth billions of dollars, but they don't pay them shit. You're just looking at, am I drawing a good picture for you? Just looking over the rolling hills. You're eating some fucking cheese, some charcuteries, some crackers that pair with the cheese, all that stuff. You're pushing the olives away because I don't fuck with those. Get those olives out of there. You're wondering what, is this olive oil made on the grounds? You're doing all this stuff. You're wondering if that is cheese or if it's butter. It's probably cheese, though, and it's always cheese. It's like, is that, because that's almost like, it's too soft to be cheese. And then right next to the soft cheese is the hardest cheese you've ever experienced, and they just think that you're just, what am I supposed to put that on a cracker and just eat? I'm breaking off pieces of this hard cheese that kind of smells pretty concerning. But then they're like, well, the funkier the smell, the better the cheese. And it's like, I think that's your opinion. I don't think that's my opinion. You're doing all this stuff. You're experiencing all it. You're just doing these little wine nips. You know what I mean? This little hitter, this little sample pour of wine. And then you're doing it all day, and boom, you're fucking wasted. You're hammered. And your lips are red. And you're trying to have a serious conversation about, like, your future goals, or like what your loved one means to you. You're trying to tell this girl that, hey, I'm the real deal. You and me, we're in it for the long term. Meanwhile, you got a ring around your lips that is just like purplish red. It's almost like, have you been eating out that blueberry bitch from Willy Wonka for the past 30 minutes? Why are your lips so dark right now? And why does that happen? Am I drinking it wrong? I always have to check my lips here and there. And you're lit up off that wine, dude. Off that Pinot. And you're not making a lot of sense. You got to drive to another place and get some more samples of this shit. Because now you're in it. So I said, if you want to do that, go to Paso Robles. Tucked away. I don't know if it's better than Napa or Sonoma. I've never been to either of those. I don't think. But Paso Robles is a good time. It's a little town. You get into the town. It's like a little square block. There's a park in the middle. The only chain thing they have is a Cold Stone, which, like, if you're going to have one chain, that's a good one. I don't hate on that. There's a Starbucks maybe around there, but not in the heart of the town. It's just all those little It's just a bunch of, I don't know, restaurants that serve you up wine for sure. Local wine always. It's the type of town where everybody that works there has worked at like 3 of the other restaurants too, and they know everybody there. it's uh, it's a it's a decent little quick stop. I would give yourself 3 days and then get the fuck out, because I will say once you can walk around that town in about 17 minutes and you've kind of seen it all. But although the vineyards of the wine places are like 15 minutes out, go this way, that way. There's some that are super, super nice. Some that are just like whatever. The super elegant ones are actually almost a little annoying. You got to talk with the person that's serving you the wine all day. They explain to you all the shit. They're gonna tell you all the flavors and stuff. Fruit forward, all that stuff. I don't know if you watched that documentary with sommeliers, but sometimes it's super unnecessary. Like, I don't know if that's a cool. Like, I like how they tell you as a brag to compliment the wine. Be like, it tastes like the forest floor. It's like, what's going? How is that a description that you think would help me wrap my brain around how this is going to taste? Also, how do you know what that tastes like? Who's getting their tongue on that? The forest floor? What's happening here? And then I don't understand how it tastes like apricots and strawberries and stuff like that. Shouldn't it taste like the grapes? How they getting all these other flavors in this bitch? These other fruits. I thought it came from one fruit. And then you stomped it out with somebody's feet, and all of a sudden we're drinking wine. There's some science behind that shit I do not understand. And I sound dumb even asking the question, so I don't. But you get the elegant one. We went to one that was super, super elegant. Dow, I think it was, or Dow or something. And, everybody's got a fucking vest on, and, like, all the employees are locked in. They're trying to tell you why they think. They all have the same spiel, too. It's kind of crazy. Like, they're going to give you, literally, you're just going there. You're getting 2 whites and 3 reds. That's what it is. I've been drinking wine for probably 12 years, something like that. I can't tell you. I know I like Pinot Noir. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I just know when I drink it, I like it. And but if you put anything in front of me, I'm going to consume it. Any wine. I'll do the white. I'll do the red. Whatever. Rosé. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's maybe I don't have a refined palate. I can tell you the best appetizers at a Chili's, and I can rank them 1 through 10. I would argue that is a refined palate. I think that's pretty impressive. My opinions on a Southwest egg roll and what that means to me. But in wine thing, I can't. I don't know what's going on. Is it dry? Does it taste dry? Is dry a flavor? I'm not sure. I know that we went to one place and they said that the 2020 fires ruined their grapes. And then the next place was like, actually, 2020 was the best fucking year for us. The fires elevated our wine. That sounds like somebody that's trying to make money off of some shitty wine. Because the other dude just told me that the fire fucked up everybody's shit. You're telling me that the fire elevated your shit? You kidding me? Somebody ain't fucking adding up here. You know what I mean? So it's funny to get the pitch from all of them. I like the ones that are just more regular, level-headed. They know that, because you can say anything to me. But I'm sure there's also people that are there that you can't just say anything to. And they're on the same level of, like, annoying wine snob that, like, they need that. When I get there, I'm just like, look, man, I'm from Cincinnati. You can tell me anything you fucking want. I'm going to drink this wine, and I'm going to eat that cheese, and I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And the cooler you are, the better everything goes. Like, the one that the one that had the place that they were like, the 2020 fires actually helped our grapes. That was probably the worst wines, but it was a fine time. But it was just weird because the kid that was helping us, he was probably the least pretentious, right? He didn't really care, but then there's the level of I actually wish he cared a little bit more. It was like some 22-year-old kid that had like one of those like fuckboy haircuts, like the curly hair thing with the buzz on the side. He's wearing a um again, he's first of all, he's 22, 23 years old. He's wearing like an alternate Seattle Mariners hat with a do-rag under it. But it's a white dude. But it's not a do-rag that goes all the way over the head. It's like almost like a headband do-rag. He's wearing this shit. He's wearing the hat off to the side. And he's telling me about fucking how it tastes like apricots. You fucking kidding me? This is the dude that's representing your brand? This is not it. This guy, I think he was trying to hit on my girlfriend. This dude wasn't it. So, maybe maybe there's a point between pretentious and whatever that dude was doing that I want. But you don't have to do too much. And quit telling me that it tastes like the forest floor. It tastes like bark. It's like, what are we plugging here? What are we pushing over here? But I don't know. Oh, we just got an update from Jamar Chase too. Limited but mentally preparing to play. I love that excites me. You can't physically do the things, but mentally he's right there with us, and I'm with that, Jamar. I feel like you're gonna play on Sunday, and if you don't, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed in you. But I'll still love you, no less. But yeah, Paso Robles. That's a good town. Like 3-hour drive from LA. Get up there. Go. You're not too far from San Simeon. If you ever just want to look at elephant seals lay along the beach, that's a good time. These guys might have it all figured out. I don't know why they chose this little area along the California coast to chill, but there's like 200 of these elephant seals. And yeah, you got to wonder who the first dude was like, dude, you should pull up to this cove, dude. I think we found a new home. And, like, now they're just there all the time. So you can go there. You can go to San Luis Obispo's right there. They got a good fucking sandwich down there at High Street Sandwich something. That's a hard vouch. Get the Godfather. Tell him I sent you. You can go to, and then it's close to the Hearst Castle, which is a fun one, too. I don't know if you've ever been there. The Hearst fortune, what is it, the guy that owned all the fucking newspapers in the world or something like that? You want to talk about a fucking problem. That dude's a problem. He was manipulating all of the media throughout the whole fucking country for a couple years there. What was it William Randolph Hearst, right? I think that's what his name is. So it's either him or his kid. Whoever it was Hearst Castle is literally the kid of the fortune. So it wasn't his father was the one that made all the money, and then the kid had all this money and continued to grow and grow and grow. But like at that point it was like you couldn't fuck up this fortune. And he had so much money that he didn't know what to do with it. And he just started fucking building a crazy crib up in I think it's in like Cambria or something like that. All these little towns along the California coast are crazy. But it's called Hearst Castle after his name. He was flexing so hard at one point. I think he got some zebras up in that bitch. And they're just chilling now. So now they're not even indigenous to those areas. He flew out some zebras, and now they're just living on the property because some asshole was like, I need like 40 zebras to pull up. And then he's got like, yeah, it's the most ludicrous home you'll ever see. Unnecessary wealth. Crazy flex. So you can get wine drunk and go check that out. I bet you can drink wine up there and get more drunk. There's probably wine tasting at the Hearst Castle. Nice little area. There's some stuff going on in California, actually, that is nice. You can go, because you can go within 2-3 hours of L.A., you can go do a lot of shit. And if you don't want to drive that far, Magic Mountain, right there in Santa Clarita, which is actually the place that they filmed Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation, Wally World, right there at Magic Mountain, which is just, and that's just a fun fact. And sometimes that's what you're going to get from me. You're going to get fun facts. So, yeah, so that's about it. But that's what I've been up to. I told you guys last week we went and saw Killers of the Flower Moon. I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of true crime documentaries. I don't know if you guys have done that on long drives, but I just been solving murders, dude. So that's been pretty fun. Really makes you think about where you're at when you're in like a creepy hotel. Like I was up in Pason Robles. I was like, dude, there's probably been some, but not a lot of murders, but there's been 2 or 3 murders that have stirred this town up. So that's fun to think about. So I'm going to look into that when I go to small towns now. That'll make you a little bit weary at the end of the night when you're sleeping, because you're just constantly thinking, man, I don't want to end up in a documentary, in a 6-part podcast about my death. So, that's the main, the key to success is not ending up like that. But it doesn't happen like that anymore. Most of them are all from like 2005 and prior. A lot of them are from like the late 80s. Maybe the 90s, and you could just get away with murder back then. A lot easier. The good old days, they don't do them like they used to anymore. So those have been fun. So shout out to true crime documentaries and true crime podcasts. I'm officially at my middle-aged white woman stage of life, where that's what I'm consuming. Just Dateline podcasts, just solving them. But how else are you gonna survive a long trip? Car rides. What am I supposed to just listen to Joe Rogan for 6 hours? Is that what you'd prefer? I think that's more problematic, honestly. Unless I'm getting justice at the end of this thing instead of frustrated about the future of our country. So that's where we're at. And then on long trips, look at this. I got them right here. Salt and vinegar chips. That's what I do on long drives. And if you're not in on salt and vinegar chips, I don't know why, but those are the best fucking chips you can do. And they got to be kettle cooked too. Just know that. Kettle cooked salt and vinegar chips. I've never opened a bag and not emptied it in one sitting. So if you ever want to jump on as a sponsor, Kettle brand potato chips. Hit me up. Sea salt and vinegar. I crush them every time. They're real bag emptiers. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what you guys have helped me with over the years. Sea salt and vinegar chips. You've elevated every sandwich I've ever had. So hit me up if you need, me to vouch for you guys more and give me some money. And speaking of which, if you guys want to give me some money, the best way to do that is buy my shirts, buy my merch. I've got some great merch out there. I've been telling you guys every episode, but hit it up if you haven't done it. We got the Yahmsayin shirts, and sweater, and the whole sweatsuit actually is wildly comfortable. And then I just posted about my Road Warrior shirt too. If you're not going to be seeing me on the Road Warrior tour, the best way to support me is to hit the shirt up. So get the Road Warrior tour shirt. I also have pint glasses. We really went hard on all these things. So they're pretty dope. The shirts are super comfortable, and the pint glasses are pretty fire. I'm not going to lie. I've been drinking a lot of beer out of them. They pair well with Modelo and a day off. So hit those up. Baltimore, I'm going to see you guys soon. Again, if you know anybody in that area, if you're in that area, come through to the show. All the tickets are live on turnercomedy.com. We'll be at Baltimore, Hawaii after that, Jacksonville after that, and then we're going to go Pittsburgh and Kansas City to round out the year. And hopefully the Bengals are still fucking cooking, baby. High octane. Let's fucking go. But I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.